Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let me show you 10 fun things you can do with your Mac. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. Now usually I'm all about telling you how to get the most from your Mac, showing you useful things that can make you more productive. But every once in a while it's good to have a little fun. So if you want to take a break from your work, here are some things to try. First, you've got an app on your Mac called Photo Booth, and this works with your iSight camera. So the camera built into an iMac or a MacBook model. And you can use this to simply take a picture of yourself or record some video, and there are all sorts of fun effects that you can apply there. It's fun to play with. It's particularly fun if you have kids around and you want to entertain them for a bit. But also if you want to record a video of yourself and you want to do it with a little bit of humor, you can use one of the effects built in here to do it. So next, in the Music app, when you play music, of course, you get things like the name of the song and you can get lyrics and all of that. But you can also get something called the visualizer. So if I were to play a song here and then go to Window, Visualizer, I get something that looks like this. And it displays all sorts of graphics that kind of go with the music a little bit. There are a lot of things that you can do to customize this, including switching to the classic visualizer right here. And then if you press the slash key, the one with the question mark on it, you get additional commands here for each different mode. And you can of course make this full screen right here to fill the screen while you're playing music. Not to mention the fact that there's nothing to stop you from screen capturing while this is on and then using the weird screen effects in a video you're making. Now this next one is actually useful, but it's also a lot of fun. If you've never used Dictation on your Mac, you should give it a try. Go into System Preferences and then Keyboard and then go to Dictation and turn it on, and you also see how to activate it right there. And then you can use this to leisurely dictate instead of typing. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, period. There's another type of dictation that's even more powerful. If you go into Accessibility and then to Voice Control, if you enable Voice Control, you get dictation as well. This is another type of dictation, period. And along with this you also get commands that you can use to control your Mac in a variety of different ways. Now you can also make your Mac speak to you, and there are a variety of different ways to do this. You can use the terminal to do it, a variety of different apps. But one of the easiest ways to do it, and one that allows you to use Siri's premium voices, is if you go back into System Preferences, Accessibility, and then you go to Spoken Content, enable Speak Selection, and then in here go and set the options. You can see your option Escape is what will trigger this. You can set the voice. Siri Voice 4 is the classic Siri voice. And then you can just type something here in an app like TextEdit, select it, and then do Option Escape and have it speak whatever you want. The next thing I want to show you is using GarageBand. GarageBand is a free app from Apple. If you don't have it on your Mac already, you can download it at no cost from the Mac App Store. Now you can create an empty project here and choose Drummer and then create the drummer there. And then you can basically play around with these fun rock drummers here. You can see there's all these different styles and you can pick a drummer that you like and then click here to set a loop and then play to play. And then you can change where this dot is to make it simple, more complex, soft or loud. Go to different presets here. Change which things are used in the drum kit like that. And create all sorts of different beats. It's fun to play with. There's basically a near infinite number of variations. Or you could also create an empty project. Choose Software Instrument. And then you'll have an instrument chosen right here, usually classic electric piano. And you can use this on-screen keyboard and the corresponding letters on your keyboard to play some music. If you want to hear it in a different instrument, just choose something different here on the left. And yes, if you switch here to a drum kit and then choose drums, then these keys actually correspond to different drums and you can tap out a beat. Your Mac actually comes with one game pre-installed. It's called Chess. Go into Launchpad and look for Chess and launch that, and you can play chess against the computer. You can move the pieces. The computer will make its move. Pawn D7 to D5. And if you're good at chess, you can go into Preferences here and create a more difficult opponent. You You can also change the board type and the pieces to make it look different. And it's 3D, so you can grab a corner of the board here and actually tilt the board up or down or move it left and right. Did you know you can control your Mac with your head? If you go into System Preferences and then Accessibility and then go down to Pointer Control, you can go to Alternate Control Methods and turn on Enable Head Pointer. And now if I move my head back and forth with my hands off the trackpad, I can control the pointer. You can also go into Alternate Pointer Actions and then in Options here, and then you could add something like a facial expression and make it left click when you smile or stick your tongue out or blink your eye. All sorts of different things. Now you're probably familiar with using emoji on your Mac while typing. You can use Control Command Space to bring up the emoji and special character viewer. You can scroll through and find all sorts of really interesting graphics here. And then you can select one and you get this little character. But the characters actually aren't so little. If you select them and you're in an app like Pages, you can increase the size quite a bit. And then you could see how detailed the artwork is for each one of these. There are so many different characters representing so many different things in all of the emoji sets and special symbols that it's worthwhile to go through and play around and see what there is. Take a look at some of the great artwork created by Apple for each of these emoji characters. They could actually be useful later on, but they're also fun to look at, even to see some of the hidden things in them. For instance, if you search for coin, come up with a coin here, and you'll find out it has something here printed on the coin that's from a classic Apple advertising series. There's also an app on your Mac called Grapher. And if you go into that, you can use that to graph equations. Now it has some pretty complex things if you go into like 3D graphs. But if you just want to have some fun with it, go to Examples and look at some of the 2D and 3D examples that are here. If you select one of these, you get a pretty cool looking graphic and it's actually going to rotate it for you. There's a whole bunch of different ones you can try like this. And you can play around with the equation if you want to change it in subtle ways. And then if you want you can export. Now if you go to File, Export, you can export an image. But if you actually go to Equation, Create Animation, you can create an animation that's a video. So you can set the number of frames here. You can go to Orientation and have it start at this orientation, for instance, and have it stop at this orientation. Create the animation. I'm going to save it here to the desktop. And you can see a little video it creates here. Now of course if I change the number of frames and other things I can actually create a much more advanced high resolution thing that perhaps I can use in some fun videos or something. Now let's go back into the Music app. And did you know that you can access radio stations in the Music app? I'm not talking about streaming online stations that have played different songs based on your taste. I'm talking about actual real radio stations that are broadcasting. If you search for a radio station by its call letters, or sometimes by the name it goes by, you could usually find it using Apple Music. So you want to search Apple Music for this. And it seems to work even if you don't subscribe to Apple Music. And you could play a radio station. So you can choose from radio stations from around the world. Many of them are available. So here are some additional ones. If you go to System Preferences, Screensaver, most screensavers are just showing you your photos in different ways with different transitions. But there are two really interesting ones here at the bottom. One is album artwork that will show you the album artwork from your collection. You also have the Word of the Day screensaver as well, which will bring up a word and show you its definition. So there are some things you can do on your Mac that may not be useful to you, but they're fun to play with. And there are others as well. If you've got some fun things you can do on your Mac, especially if they use the built-in stuff, they don't require third-party apps, let us all know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.